Françaises, Français, mes chers compatriotes.
French people, my dear compatriots, tonight, on 31st December, I have a thought above all for those who ensure the continuity of the nation. Security forces, firefighters, volunteers, nurses, workers, all those who are tonight, as always, in the front line, face difficulties. Protect, care for, feed, help, provide relief and fraternity. This is how the lives of the great nations go, which are held every day by the dedication of their citizens. I have a thought in your name to all, for those who are alone, sick, in the ordeal or the debauchery. I know how difficult the situation is for many of you, placed in the face of personal suffering and the misfortunes of life. And I want to tell you our support and our affection. Thanks to the commitment of all, thanks to you, we hold on. Yes, our country holds on. Strong of its institutions, its public services, strong of its armies, which are the most effective in Europe, by the commitment of its soldiers. Strong of our economy, where never so many French have had a job, where growth is sustained, and where our inflation is one of the lowest in the Eurozone. Strong of our research, of our academic excellence, of our diplomatic initiatives, whether they be those for peace, the climate, or our oceans. But beyond all this, no one is blind to the disorders of the world and our own flaws. Our world is harder every day. War and instability continue to be there, close to the Middle East, with consequences on our economies, our interests, sometimes our cohesion. And the war continues to grow on European soil, with a particular intensity, since Russia has decided to launch a new aggression against Ukraine nearly 4 years ago. We are witnessing the return of empires, the questioning of the international order, a world of trade wars, of technological competition, often of instability. I also see our own divisions, our doubts, the growing loneliness that exists in society, the decline of our birth rate, the insecurity, and the difficulties of purchasing power. I know all the impatience, sometimes the anger that continues to exist in the country, and I share several of them. These emergencies require answers. From the first weeks of the year that opens, the government and parliament will have to build agreements to equip the nation with a budget. It is essential. From the beginning of the year 2026, we will have to act, support our farmers in the face of crises, and protect them from decisions that may threaten our ability to produce and our food security. Reinforce our economy again by simplifying the rules for our entrepreneurs and for our farmers. Persevere in our efforts against insecurity, against all forms of incivility, and fight relentlessly against drug trafficking in all its forms. Continue to take control of our French and European borders in the face of illegal immigration. Continue to train our teachers and give schools and colleges the means to better transmit fundamental knowledge. And above all, recognize the skills of our doctors in the city and at the hospital by simplifying their exercises and allowing them to decide more and to organize their activities. Implement a concrete and radical decentralization built with our elected officials on the ground to simplify the functioning of the country, make savings and also respond, at the same time, to the legitimate aspirations of Corsica and several overseas territories. For all this, I know the government is committed and the Prime Minister determined to be useful to the country, and I want to thank them sincerely tonight. This will also mean the mobilization of everyone and the efforts of all. This year, municipal elections will also be held in our municipalities, and I want to say again tonight to all the mayors, to our elected officials, my recognition and my gratitude to them. They have been, during these last years, in all the fights, in all the crises, by my side and at your service. This year must therefore be, and will be, a useful year. I will pay special attention to what several major projects can accomplish. We will see the first steps of the national service for the commitment of our young people, which will strengthen the link between our armies and the nation. We will protect our children and adolescents from social networks and screens. We will finally get to the end of the legislative work on the question of the end of life in dignity, a subject on which I was committed before you in 2022. At the end of the year, when the time comes, the next campaign for the presidential election of 2027 will open little by little, the first to which I have not participated for 10 years. However, I will be at work until the last second, trying every day to be up to the mandate you entrusted me with, and I will do everything to ensure that the presidential election takes place as serenely as possible, in particular in the shelter of all foreign interference. Beyond the projects to be carried out, I want to have 3 wishes for our nation. First, a wish for unity. Whatever the challenges, our history teaches us that we can face everything if we know how to stay united. So let us never forget that our reasons for living together are stronger each day than what can divide us, than the waves of emergencies, winter events, or bad news. Our unity is supposed to fight relentlessly against anti-Semitism, against racism, against all forms of discrimination. Our unity requires us to recognize that every French woman, every French man has a role to play to face the challenges that lie ahead of us, that each one of us is necessary and must be encouraged and recognized. Yes, in our daily lives, I wish us more kindness and more humanity. My second wish is a wish for strength, for independence. While the law of the strongest tries to impose itself on the affairs of the world, and that our Europe is besieged from all sides, we must defend our independence and our freedoms. Our independence requires that we continue to invest in our armies, in our security forces, in our public services, and our economy, despite the financial difficulties. For 10 years, I have pleaded a lot, and we have done a lot to strengthen this independence in Europe, and we must accelerate it. The Europe of defense has long been a debate. It has begun to take shape, and in 2026, it will accelerate. As of 6th January next year in Paris, many European states and allies will take concrete commitments to protect Ukraine and ensure a just and sustainable peace on our European continent. Let us also protect our industrial and agricultural Europe by establishing fair trade rules vis-à-vis the rest of the world. Let us dare to be a real power that assumes a European preference for its jobs, its businesses. Let us build an independent Europe in the space industry, the quantum or the artificial intelligence. It depends on our prosperity in France as well as in Europe. My last wish is a wish of hope, hope for ourselves and for our children. Let us not give up. Let us not give up on progress, still possible on the condition of building it, to work hard, to invest in the long term, and to recognize that real progress does not happen overnight, but that it sometimes takes the time of a generation. Let us not give up on reconciling climate, biodiversity, growth, and independence. Let us not give up on great scientific discoveries, on the love of science and research, on economic success. Let us not give up on reading, on beauty, on culture. Let us not give up every day to be a more solidary, more fraternal nation. Yes, in the end, I wish us to resist in the age of time, simply because we are French. We must hold on to what we cherish: humanity, peace, freedom. We will succeed. So let us look ahead and look far, as citizens and as a nation. My dear compatriots from France, from our overseas and living abroad, I wish you a very beautiful, a very happy year 2026. Long live the Republic, long live France.